my creative friends, and welcome to another video on my channel. In this video we are going to paint some florals with watercolor paint. So I actually painted or have written down with some watercolor a quote that I really like. I am always looking for some quotes that resonate with me, and this one that I used in today's video, it is, "If it's meant to be, it'll be." And it's extremely helpful for me as a chronic overthinker. I tend to have some issues with accepting situation and letting things go. And the quote, "If it's meant to be, it'll be," is really helping me with that. So I thought it would be fun to write it down. So that's what I did. And now I decided I want to decorate it with some really fun and easy flowers. So if you like to, you can use the same quote as I did, or think about your own quote. Look around what really resonates with you. And if you are not interested in the quote part, that's totally fine. You can just follow along with the florals. So grab your watercolor paint supplies and then we can get started. Enjoy! If you're new to my channel, then please let me introduce myself. My name is Sandra and I'm a watercolor artist from the Netherlands. I really love to teach and inspire others to become confident with watercolor as well. And not only that, I love to digitize my watercolor art and put it on products. So there's content about that on my channel as well. So without further ado, let's get back to this video. So grab your watercolor supplies and let's start. I always start by spraying some water on my watercolor paint to activate it. This makes it easier for me to start painting. So as I said, I already have written down my quote on my piece of paper, and I suggest that you do the same in preparation. So if you haven't done this yet, then please pause the video and then start here as soon as you are ready. So you can try to do exactly the same thing as I am doing here, or just try out a bit of your own way. So basically, I decided on one color first and I loosely painted some flower-like shapes, and I didn't even really think about how the shape should look like. And then after that, I picked another color and dropped in some color in the flowers that I just painted. And then I let the paint blend in itself. So now I'm using some other colors as well, and I am making sure to have enough water on my brush to have some variation. So I've got some lighter flowers that are more transparent, and then I've got the smaller flowers, they have got some more pigment on there. Now it's time to paint some stems to the flowers. For this I use sap green, and now I'm using a teeny tiny brush and I gently paint some strokes. And as the paint is still wet, you see how it blends in with the flower, and I think that is totally fine. It actually looks like how it would look on a real flower. So I'm continuing doing this with all the flowers over there, so that my quote is surrounded by flowers in a meadow, and I really love this vibe. So what I like to do as well is paint some leaves next to those stems. I'm using the teeny tiny brush for this as well, and I am using some variation with the pigment. So some of the leaves are darker than the others, and I also have some variation in the size. There are several ways to draw leaves, and for now I am just using this way to first draw the leaf and then paint it in. So I'm using sap green for the base color, but then I like to add in some darker green as well while the paint is still wet to add some shading. And I also like to add some leaves in this color as a base color, just to have some variation. You can play around with this and use the colors that you prefer. So then it's recommended to start with a lighter color and add in some more pigment, some darker color. I don't have an example, I am just going along and I am painting wherever I like, whatever I feel like to. So this is really a very nice creative process and just a way to be playful and get out of your head, not to think too much about what you're doing. Just feel what's right. Look at your paper where you see some space and just paint something there that you feel fits in that gap. So I really think I should paint some more flowers in there as well. Just playing around with the grass a bit. So I picked up some blue because I think that blue is something that would fit in this illustration at this point. Makes this beautiful meadow even more balanced and playful. So with the teeny tiny brush, I am painting teeny tiny flowers. So with very gentle stripes, but also have some playful dots here and there. Now I am mixing some purple because I would really love to add some lavender type flowers in this beautiful meadow. And I really feel like the lavender is putting this illustration together. So now I am mixing some green and watering it down because I want to have a warmer color of green, a very light wash to add some more leaves to my florals. And I just want to have some variation in this illustration. So different type of flowers, different type of leaves. And this way it all comes together really nicely. So I'm grabbing some red and I'm placing dots on several places in the illustration, filling up some empty spaces and making it even more playful. And now I let this first layer dry and it's time to add some details. So again, I'm using my teeny tiny brush and I'm playing around with some red and some pink tones, and I'm adding some stripes on my flowers. So I'm really trying to only use the tip of the brush to make those strokes very thin, but then I can use some water on my brush to brush it out a bit. So the lines are going to be even softer and thinner. So you can try it out, put some pigmented paint on your brush and then make those stripes and then clean off your brush and put some clean water on it and then brush it out a bit. And you want to have this mix of soft edges and crisp edges. We are not going to do this for all the flowers, but the bigger ones, and you can also play around a bit with the amount of petals you want to have in the florals. You can also mix around with the colors that you're using. So for this one, I'm using a darker pink because the floral is darker as well. And just play around a bit. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just go with the flow and if you're not totally satisfied, let it dry and paint over it. Or what you can also do is use a paper towel and while the paint is still wet to clear it off and try again. So now I'm going to put some details on those leaves as well. I'm using a dark green for this, and with the tip of my brush again, just creating gentle strokes on top of those leaves. And I'm also playing around a bit here because not every leaf needs to be the same, not every flower is the same. I just go with the flow and paint some details wherever I feel like. I always love this part of the process the most because a painting really comes together at this point, and it feels very mindful and relaxing to do this exercise. I love to not think about it too much, but just do whatever feels right. Also, putting some details on those blue flowers, using some indigo blue for this. Of course, you can pick whatever colors feel right for you. So now I have let this dry and I'm going for some finishing touches here. What I love doing is putting metallic accents on my paintings. Now, if you don't have any metallic paints, that's alright. Then you can skip this step or use some more regular watercolor paper to create some extra details. But for who is trying to follow along, I'm using a dark green metallic paint here. And I'm just going over some details that I already painted just to get some extra depth and shading, but also you don't see it at this point, but later on, if you are going to like shift the art print in the light, then you will see this shimmering effect, and I really love that. So after we have done all the leaves with the dark green, I get my other set and I am using some gold for some accents within the flowers as well. I always pick 1 or 2, maybe 3 metallic colors to add some details, but never more, because I like to have it all balanced out. And at this point, I like to paint some dots alongside the art print to make it even more playful. So you can just add your details wherever you like to and whatever feels right for you. And now when you're finished, of course, don't forget to sign your creation. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching this video, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you like to, I would love to see your results, so please share it on your socials and don't forget to tag me at Sandra Art Studio and use the hashtag #CreateWithSandras. And of course, if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit that bell notification. Then you will get a notification every time I post a new video. And if you liked this one, please give it a thumbs up. And also I will give you a suggestion at the end of this video with another cool watercolor tutorial or other video on my channel. So thanks again for watching and see you in the next one.